Congratulations. If you have found this video, you made it to start here and you've officially started your lifespan growth and development class. My name is Jim Archer and I'll be your professor for this very short Maymester. My background, I was in social work for about 9 years. I was a caseworker for about a year of that. I was a director of a foster care agency for the next 7, and then the last year of that I was a national trainer who helped start foster care agencies across the nation. And for the last 10 years I've been at South Plains College as a faculty member. I teach psychology and humanities courses. I will be stationed over at the Lubbock Center this fall. I would sure love to see you over there for general psychology or for humanities in the fall if you enjoy this course. And I really love my online classes. I love my face-to-face classes even more. I get to know you even better there, so I sure would love to see you over there. I have 3 kiddos. You'll hear quite a bit about them. I have a daughter who will be going into high school who will be turning 14 right after this mini-mester is over. I have a son who just turned 11 and a daughter who is turning 7 years old. I'm married to my wife, Kelly, who is an assistant principal here in Lubbock, Texas, and we've been married for, oh man, let's see. Wow, I guess 18 years. So it's pretty awesome. It really has flown by. I definitely got blessed with my wife and am fortunate to have a marriage. I love to get to run home to her. So anyway, that's who I like to hang out with when I'm not with you and when I'm not online. As far as contacting me this summer, you're going to find that's a little bit difficult. I don't have any office hours. However, if there was an emergency, that's something we could potentially set up, maybe to get together for a few minutes. The best way to get in contact with me is definitely my email address. That is jim-archer@hotmail.com. That is on the syllabus. Hopefully you have found the syllabus. And I'm going to be walking you through that syllabus for the next few minutes. So if it were me, I might pull that up and kind of highlight things that I point out to you. I am definitely most accessible through email, though. That phone number that's on the syllabus is one of the most worthless numbers. That goes to an office at Reese campus and then is just forwarded to me in the form of an email. So you could just save yourself a step by putting my email contact into your phone and go ahead and just use that to contact me, because it's going to end up in an email anyway. I'm not even at that campus where that phone is located anymore. So if you'll just shoot me an email. Another thing I would encourage you to do is to use your South Plains College email. If you use Juicy Butt 2000 from middle school, I may or may not read that, and those emails from this course will not be going to that email address. They'll be going to your South Plains College email. So make sure you do have access to that. Make sure I would probably put it on my mobile phone if it were me, so that I could get updated access to it constantly in case I make an announcement about the course or something like that. That will come in your email. Now, the book that you'll need for this course is called Experience Human Development, the 13th edition by Papalia and Martorell. And that ISBN number is on your syllabus. You can check it out there. I have loaned a copy to many of you. If you need a copy and have not contacted me and you live in the Lubbock area, please shoot me an email and we will try to connect and I'll get you a copy. I have several copies of that book. In fact, I have enough for the entire class that students and other professors have donated. So I'll sure love it if you would contact me and let's save you some money and you can just borrow one of those from me. As far as the way this course is graded, it's pretty standard. You're going to have an A through F, and that policy is right there on your syllabus, and just kind of standard, right? So a 60 to a 69 is a D, a 70 to a 79 is a C, 80 to an 89 is a B, and a 90 to a 100 is an A. You'll have a few different areas where you'll be graded. The first of those is discussion board posts, and we'll talk a bit about those in a moment. You'll have essay questions and Blackboard quizzes that you can see under your quiz tab, and so we'll talk about those. Let's first talk a little bit about just what attendance in an online class looks like. Obviously, this is a virtual classroom, and I won't be seeing you face to face. So generally what I do is I look at your class discussions, and are you posting on time? And are you taking the chapter quizzes and turning in your assignments, okay? So that's the way I know if you're attending the class. If you go over 2 days without communicating with me and have not turned in your quizzes or discussion posts, then that's, in a mini-mester, that's a lot of days. That's the equivalent of missing a week or even 2 weeks worth of class. And so I will potentially have to start looking at dropping you. So the best way to do that is just to communicate with me. If you are going to be gone for a couple of days, make sure your work is up to date, and then send me an email and say, Mr. Archer, I'm going to be traveling in New Mexico or whatever for the next 2 days. I won't be around, but I'm up to date on my work. And that way I know if I email you and I don't hear back from you that you're traveling and you'll be back in. So if you are going to be gone for over a couple of days in this class, I do need to hear from you if you're not checking in. As far as discussion posts, you're going to see the discussion board on the discussion board tab on your class homepage. Every few days I'll put a discussion prompt there, and on that discussion prompt it'll be some things to kind of get you thinking about the topics we're going through. Some of those I've made videos for, and so you'll want to watch the video to save yourself some time, and then do some reading in the book, and then you'll be able to make your post. And then for all of those discussion posts, you'll also make 2 different classmate comments. There may be a couple that don't require classmate comments, but for the most part, you'll be making 2 classmate comments. Now, just saying I agree with something is not making an insightful post. You'll want to make sure you actually answer the question, make sure it's relevant, and show me that you actually understand what I'm asking about. If you use some information from the book, the easiest way to cite that for me, I'm not going to make you do a works cited page, but simply put in parentheses Papaya and Martorell page, and then fill in whatever page number that is, page 289, or wherever you got that information. If you're using book information, please use some book information. Show me that you're digging and showing and gathering that information up. But if you do that, just put in quotations Papaya and Martorell and the page number. And I actually am impressed when students do that. So no need to do a full works cited page for this class. Now, if you are making a reply to classmates, that needs to be insightful and show me that you actually have read the topic and you've actually read their post and you're actually building on something they said. You're not just agreeing or say, oh, I really like what you said. It needs to be thoughtful and insightful. Essays. You're going to see the essay tab is going to have a list of 6 essays. You'll choose 2 of those. You can pick any 2. At the bottom of each essay, I've given a rubric. A rubric is my grading criteria for that. You can look through those 6, pick the 2 that you want to do. You'll use the book citations, just like I told you, Papaya and Martorell in parentheses with the page number, and you'll answer all of those. You'll answer 2 of the essay questions. Again, you won't answer them all, but you'll answer 2 of them. On that essay tab, there'll be a place where you can also submit those essays when they're ready. And so the due date for those essays is in this thing called the course calendar. The course calendar is also on the left side of your screen when you log into Blackboard under My Course. That course calendar, if it were me, I would print out a copy of that course calendar. I put some little blanks and I put all the due dates there for you, and that way you can just check things off as you do them. So the essays is probably your biggest writing assignment, and they're really not that long. It's just something that you want to plan ahead for a little bit. You don't want to just do them the night before, or you'll end up causing yourself some stress. We'll also have some chapter quizzes, and those are worth 35% of your grade. And most of the chapters that I feel like are really, really important for this, you'll have to go through and read the chapter and answer some quiz questions. Those are about 10 question quizzes, and those are timed, I think, like 2 hours to do those 10 questions. And then not only do you have a long time to do them, and they're only 10 questions, but you also have 2 attempts. And so let's say you don't do very well on the first time through, you can take it again, and it will automatically take your higher score. Now, one little note, please know, on your quizzes, if one of your quizzes goes past due date and you don't get it done, there's no reason to email me. I'm not going to open up quizzes. We have a very short course, and if I took time to open up quizzes that had expired, that is a full-time job. I want you to stay on it. I want you to stay there so that you can be in our class conversation. So if you miss a quiz, you just missed it. Take the rest of them, see if you can get caught back up if that happens. As far as me getting back with you, you'll see that I generally try to get back with you within 24 hours. However, I do generally take a step away from my course on the weekends. So around Friday at noon, I will turn my email off, and you may not hear back from me if you email me after noon on Friday until Monday morning. Most mornings I check my email, and I'll get with you throughout the day at some point or the next morning if you don't hear from me that day. But again, if it's an emergency, shoot me an email. I have those on my phone, and I will get those back, especially if there's something that would constitute an emergency. Again, please make sure you are using your South Plains email. As far as my grading and getting back with you on that, this is a fast class. The quizzes grade automatically. I do have to hand grade the discussion board posts and your essays, but there's only a few students in this course. I don't expect that taking a really long time, but you might give me a couple of days. Generally, if I'm running more than a couple of days behind, I'll send you an email that says, hey, here's kind of where I am in my grading, just so that you don't get concerned. Definitely, we do not want you to plagiarize here. Plagiarism is using somebody else's work for your own, and so make sure you're not taking another student's work and pasting it or using their thoughts. Use your own original thoughts, and if you are using a resource, make sure you do cite that. Late work is not accepted, especially in a mini-semester. We do not have time for late work. You need to stay on top of it, and if you can't stay on top of it, then a mini-semester is probably not for you. You need to come back and do a semester-long class and try that format. As far as technology support, I am not an IT person. I set things up as easy as I can, and then I'm dependent on you to understand the technology you're using and the devices you're using. Yes, if there's a problem that you think is something I can fix, please shoot me an email. If it's something on your end with your device, then I probably can't help you on that. You'll need to get somebody to help you, and I've provided some resources on the syllabus for that. A couple of things, make sure you're using either Google Chrome or Firefox. Do not use Internet Explorer. It causes problems for students every semester. So use one of those browsers. Make sure you clear your caches and your cookies, and make sure you have all of that cleared as well. I also do use a Windows-based PC, so if you send me anything in iOS, it may be that I can't open it, so please try to save something like your essays and your assignments. Make sure that they're in a format that I can actually open those when you submit them. As far as online etiquette, pretty simple, but you just be polite. That doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone, and in fact, some of our best conversations will come from two people who have different opinions, but I want to see you in polite, courteous manner conducting yourself. It's going to be a little more conversational than a paper as far as your discussion posts. However, this is still above text speak, so we're not just texting here. You're still in a college course, so make sure your answers are coherent. I've also provided some accommodation statements at the bottom of the syllabus. You're welcome to look at any of that. That has, like, for Blackboard, some accessibility stuff and some Adobe Acrobat accessibility, and other things, other different resources I might use, YouTube, things like that. Finally, I want to thank you for being in my class. I know that this is a fast class. You're going to be putting a lot of hours in. I really appreciate you. So make sure that you ask me any questions that you need to ask me. I want to be available to you. I definitely see education as a key to open lots of great doors in your life, and I hope this is one of those classes that you look back on and think, man, that was 3 weeks, but it was 3 weeks well spent, and maybe it's some doors that open up in your mind, and maybe even some opportunities that might open up for you down the road through some of the information you learn in this class. In this class, we go from conception to coffin, and so those chapters are going to progress along those lines. You're going to see that you have a due date coming very quickly for your syllabus quiz. And so if you watch this video, that should probably help you with that syllabus quiz. I believe that's due Tuesday. Most of my due dates are at midnight. And so make sure you do look at those due dates and you take care of that first syllabus quiz. And then your first discussion post is Wednesday, and it will require some reading on contexts of development. Just kind of a hint, contexts of development are like where your story unfolds. Every great story has a setting, right? So like Twilight, if you're watching Twilight, the setting is Forks, right? It's foggy. It's in Washington State. It would be different if it was in Miami Beach. Imagine Edward ripping his shirt open and he's got that glittery skin in Miami Beach. Imagine the movie Tombstone if the context wasn't the Wild West, but it was urban Houston. It'd be very different, right? So your contexts are the places in which you development. Family, socioeconomic status, your culture, your history. So read in chapter 1 about those and get ready for your first discussion post. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I sure am glad you're in this course.